Welcome, welcome, Travel Week readers. Thank you for being online here with us today. I am so excited that we have Jimmy from Agencia Global back today. He's got an excellent presentation planned for you all, and I can't wait to learn more with you as well. As you know, here at Travel Week, we are dedicated to bringing you all the best information to book and craft holidays for your clients. And so with that in mind, I just want to go over a little bit of housekeeping. That would be, if you do have any questions during the course of the webinar, feel free to pop them into the Q&A box at the bottom. You can also write any comments into there because I know the chat is disabled for our Travel Week readers. And then I'll come on at the very end of the webinar and I will ask any questions to Jimmy on your behalf. So please use this time. It's a great time to connect with Jimmy and get your questions answered. And with that, I will pass the floor over to Jimmy. Jimmy, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, and I hope everyone is doing well this afternoon. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope your summers, are wrapping up nicely and everyone's managing the back to school rush well.
Yes.
As mentioned, my name is Jimmy. I'm the director of sales over at Agencia Global. We have what we believe is one of the industry's most innovative booking platforms, and my plan today is basically to present it to you and show you what booking with us is like and what kind of features we've brought to the platform that makes us one of the most innovative partners you could work with. Now, we do have a raffle prize that we'll be doing a drawing for as well. So I've got a $250 Amazon gift card for one lucky winner. For those of you who have tuned in the past, you know that the criteria to win is pretty simple. For those tuning in for the first time, we ask three things of you. Number one, that you register for an account on Agencia Global. If you're an existing agent of ours, then you've already satisfied that criteria. The contest is open to you as well. We ask that you attend the webinar in its entirety, including the Q&A. And then finally, we always ask that you make at least one booking on our highlighted airline partner during the promo period that we present. So today's highlighted airline partner is going to be Air Transat, which is why you're seeing that Air Transat banner right there at the top. They are offering a bonus commission program that I'll be discussing. But as far as the promo period itself is concerned, started last Monday and runs until September 17th. So you got plenty of time, just around 4 weeks to go. And yes, plenty of time to make that one Air Transat booking, which I'm sure all of you are doing on a regular basis anyways. So without further ado, let's get into the booking process. And I'll actually just zoom my screen in a bit more to make it bigger for you. There we go. So when you log in to your homepage, this is what you'll see. So you could proceed immediately to booking either a flight or a car rental. Generally, if you see an airline partner's banner, it's not because we're simply engaging in brand awareness promotions. We only promote an airline partner if and when they're helping us by providing bonus incentives for you. So I'll get into that in just a second. If you have any bookings that are flagged for a schedule change, a fraud check, anything to that effect, then your booking would show highlighted right over here. And then right here underneath in the news section, please keep an eye out because we do have different bonus commission programs, as you can see, that constantly pop up on an ad hoc basis. So please keep an eye out there. If you do miss anything in the news section, don't worry about it. Like I mentioned earlier, anytime there is a bonus commission program, when you run your search, if a bonus commission is applicable to that O&D that you selected, then you'll have the banner kind of bringing your focus to it. So don't worry about ever missing anything when you're using Agencia. Now, when you want to make a booking, just click on book flights. It's a pretty simple 3-page process. So search is page 1 of 3. So you could proceed immediately to either booking a round trip, a one-way, or a multi-city itinerary. And multi-city allows for up to 5 city pairs. You then have your currency / point of sale selector. So if you were to leave USD right over here, not only would the fares be quoted in American dollars, but you would also get access to our point of sale USA commissions and net fares. My recommendation, always select the currency that corresponds with the origin airport you're working on. So, if you're booking out of Montreal, for example, then make sure you click on CAD. That said, let's use Montreal as an example. If you're in Montreal and you're looking to book out of Plattsburgh, if you're in Windsor, you're looking to book out of Detroit, Vancouver, booking out of Seattle, then please do yourself a favor and click on USD, because then you'll be granted access to all our commissions and net fares for Voyage à la carte USA, Agencia USA. Now, the search is really as simple as just entering your origin and destination. So let's say we're doing Montreal to Fort Lauderdale. We'll wait for the weather to get a little uglier up here. So let's say we're booking for a flight in October. Now, Agencia will allow you to add up to 9 passengers on one PNR. So here's where you simply provide your breakdown of adults, children, infants on lap and on seat. You could isolate a cabin class if you want, filter for nonstop flights only. And then you could even select your preferred airline partner in advance. So you could search them either by airline code or by spelling out the airline's name. Once you check off that box, the results page will show you results for that airline partner specifically. Now, once you click on search flights, it'll take maybe about 25 to 30 seconds as it runs through our content to give the most aggressive fare available. Now, when you click on these banners, whoops, and the search ran significantly quicker than I thought. When you click on these banners, you'll always get a pop-up that's basically gonna outline the details of the promotion. So here's Air Transat's promotion right now, as mentioned, until the 17th. So from Montreal to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Orlando, San Francisco, and LA, or Toronto to Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Cancun, and Puerto Vallarta. This is your bonus. So you're looking at making $7 per segment. It is applicable to POS Canada only. So make sure you do select CAD as your currency on the first page. And again, had you selected USD, let's say by mistake on the previous page, this banner would not show up. So again, just keep in mind that if you see the banner, you're definitely on an OND that's eligible for bonus commission. Now, we do offer a flexible day matrix, which is going to add and subtract up to 3 days from both the outbound and the inbound date. The fare that corresponds, to the date range that we selected is always highlighted in gray. So that's that 2038 you see right over there. Anything in white is either at the same price or more expensive. Anything in green is less expensive. And anything specifically in dark green, as you'll note in this row right over here, is the lowest available price in the matrix. Now, when you hover over them, it'll highlight both the column and the row for that specific price. And you've probably noticed by now that my mouse turns into a little finger pointer when I hover over these prices. So I'm not going to do it now. I don't want to waste your time. But if you were to click on any of these prices, your search is going to rerun. It'll preserve your PAX count, your origin and destination, but it's going to modify the travel dates accordingly and shoot you right back over to this page. So we'll just close that up. At the bottom, you'll see here, we've got in the available flight section, the fares that are available. So we do have a net fare agreement with Air Transat, which is why you're seeing this net fare right over here. From left to right, what we're looking at, if you see a little blue line next to the carrier, that means that branded fares are available. You then have your validating carrier, your fare type, RBD, your price per pax. When you hover over it, it'll give you the breakdown of the base fare and the taxes. Your grand total right over here. And then when you click on the little blue luggage icon, hopefully you could see a new window popped up and it sends you straight to the airline's baggage portion of their website. So if they update anything on their end relating to baggage policy, for example, rest assured that Agencia is going to make sure that you see the most up-to-date information. Now, when you want to select the fare, you just click on view flights, at which point you'll see the flights that are available to you. Left, you've got your outbound. Right, you've got your inbound. And then under each one, you'll see a couple of bits of information. So from left to right again, you've got your number of seats remaining. If you see a 9, that means there are 9 or more. You've got your flight number, RBD, your segment OND, departure and arrival times, your flight duration. And then if you click on this little blue eye right over here, you'll get another pop-up on your screen. And as you could see right here, these are all the fare rules. The reason it's in all caps is because that's pulled directly from Amadeus. So Once again, as is the case kind of with the luggage policy, if the airline updates anything on their end, Agencia, you can rest assured, is going to provide you with as much information as possible and as much up-to-date information, excuse me, as possible. Once you hover over that branded fare, you'll see what's included, what's available at a charge, and what's simply not included in that fare family. And then when you click on book, you're already on your way to page 3 of 3. So I did say at the beginning of the call, we like to think we're one of the more innovative platforms out there. So far, all we've really gotten into is kind of the interface, how simple it is to use. Hopefully you like what you've seen so far and agree that it's relatively simple. What we usually tell agents is if you're already comfortable enough making a booking for yourself on Expedia, for example, you're pretty much already knowledgeable to make yourself some money by making someone else's booking for them on Agencia. So far it's been just ease of use, but now on the checkout page, we're going to get into a few features that are available through Agencia that were developed to make your lives as travel agents easier, and hopefully you'll like what you see. Before we get to those features, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at here on the checkout page, the top is always going to recap the information selected on the previous page. So if you made a mistake, you could always go back. At this point here, if you forgot to click on the luggage icon on the previous page, you could do so here. But now that the fare has been selected, when you hover over it, it'll show you how many pieces of luggage are included. For those who may or may not have noticed, this button right here wouldn't show up on your end. I'm using a demo account, so all that button does is fill out the forms below with fake passenger info, so I don't waste your time by making you watch me do that. Right under that, you've got your fare family details that are recapped. You then enter your PAX info. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Those names were just automatically generated. So you would enter your 5 passengers information. You can then, if you don't have an agreement with an insurance provider already, you can then add insurance to your booking directly on Agencia if you'd like as well. And the commissions are pretty good. So let's say, for example, you wanted to offer the global all-inclusive travel protection. Simply select it from the drop-down menu. We tried to make your life as easy as possible to sell this. So right away, once you select it, you'll get a quick recap basically of what's included in that insurance plan, what the total price is for all passengers, including tax. And just to make the sale a bit easier for you, rather than having to say, for example, hey, it's $650, you could say it's $16 per person per day, for example. Now on that $655, you'd be looking at a commission payout of $265.66. Now, if we scroll further down and we get to the price breakdown section, you'll note over here now, we're giving you the breakdown of the price on a per pax level. Obviously, they're all paying the same. You've got your base, your taxes. If you hover over the little question mark right over here, it'll tell you what that breakdown of taxes is like. You've then got your subtotal and your markup and service fee, which for the time being are at 0. And then your grand total per pax right over here. Now, on the previous page, I selected a net fare, which isn't eligible for commission. So I'll just ask you to disregard this. We're just in a demo account here, so sometimes it could get a little choppy. But you see the commission is at $0. So you would want to add your markup, for example. Now, in this case over here, if you want to know how much the airline allows for in terms of markup, you would just hover over the little question mark right over here. So you'll see that Air Transat allows for $310, which is 25% of the base fare. So 25% of this $1240 right over here. But then right underneath, you'll see maximum agency markup, $2,480. So we'll allow you to mark up by up to double the base fare. Now, the reason we do that is, you probably noted on the first page, we offer airline tickets and car rentals. So we don't offer hotels, tours, or anything else you might want to sell, limo services, restaurant vouchers, you name it. So we'll allow you to mark up your fare by significantly more, just in case you want to use Agencia as your quote unquote package pricing system. So let's say, for example, now you want to mark this up. You're allowed to mark it up by $310 as per Air Transat policy. So I'm not showing you anything that anyone you're working with right now isn't already doing. This is just basic booking 101. You would enter your markup right over here. You'll see it broken down by packs with the total right here. And because Air Transat allows for that markup on their merchant account, you see the entirety of that 2348 right over here is going on their merchant account. Now, let's say you did want to add the hotel here, and the hotel was, let's call it $50 or $1,200 over and above the 300 I entered, total $1,500. Now, when you do that, you'll see now that the difference has been added on our merchant account. Now, the reason for that is obviously Air Transat doesn't allow for more than that 25% markup on their net fares. And if you'd like, you could proceed to making the booking this way. Now, the customer is going to have 3 separate transactions, one for the airfare, one for your incremental markup, and then finally one for the insurance. But if you did present this as a package price, so let's say, for example, you were saying, hey, it'll cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of $42.32, or you know what, just to make it easier on the eyes, we'll just get rid of the insurance. It doesn't change much. So here, we'll put this down to no coverage. That'll make this easier to look at. There you go. So let's say, for example, now you had said, hey, I'm going to throw in the hotel. I'm offering you your white glove service and so on. And I'm offering this to you at a package price of just under $3,600. The thing is that once you process this transaction, unfortunately, you're going to see, oh, and that's why the commission was showing up. That was the insurance commission earlier, excuse me. So you're going to see 2 separate charges on the customer's credit card. Now, this is leading me to the first feature that we added to Agencia. One of the newer pieces of innovation we've added to Agencia. When we run webinars such as the one today, we always ask attendees to kind of give us feedback, not only on the presentation, if they'd like, but also for feedback on what's causing headaches for them in their day-to-day that no other consolidation company in the market has solved for them. And one resounding answer we got on a pretty consistent basis was that agents were marking up their fares by less than they thought they could, simply because they wanted to avoid this 2-transaction situation, whereby more often than not, they would end up getting the 3rd degree after the fact over what that charge was. Maybe the customer at that point would say, look, you know what, cancel the hotel for me. I'll find a deal on booking.com or so on. So we wanted to bring a solution to the table, and we did so right in the pricing strategy section right over here. So you'll note that we've got our 2 separate charges. We've got our $1,500 markup in the payout section. So you see right now you stand to make $1,500, but the customer's got 2 charges, one from Transat, one from Agencia. Now, as a pricing strategy, lowest price is always selected by default. And what we mean by lowest price is if you want to add this total markup, the lowest price you can charge is $35.76, but you'll have those 2 line items right over here. Now, the price is going to go up by a bit, probably closer to the neighborhood of $3,700. But when you click on single charge, there you go, $36.50. The price does go up a bit. But the reason for that is now the entirety of the transaction right over here is pushed to our merchant account. So there is a service fee applied to any transaction that's placed on our merchant account, just basically to offset the charges that we incur. But now, rather than getting the 3rd degree over what that second charge was about, you've got one global price for your airfare and your markup and let's say your hotel, for example. And if you do face any questions after the fact, then it's as simple as explaining that, you know, or let's say when the customer calls, they say, hey, you're at ABC Travel, I booked the Transat ticket, why am I seeing Agencia on my credit card statement? That's pretty simple to explain away. We're your wholesaler, we issue tickets for you, therefore we're the ones for whom the transaction was placed on their merchant account. So please feel free to take advantage of this tool. I know that sometimes if you're booking domestic US, not sometimes, but all the time when you're booking domestic US, there are no commissions available. There are no net fares. In my memory, there have never been any bonus commission programs. I know that sometimes the incentives on domestic Canada isn't the best. So if ever you do want to mark up your fares and hide exactly what that markup is, then please make sure to sign up with us and use this single charge feature. Now, let's say all 5 customers are happy with the price you presented them with. They're paying approximately, I'd say $730 each or so. They're happy with the price. You believe that your work is done. You're ready to get the credit card info. But unfortunately, when you get to the payment section, all 5 of these customers each take their respective credit cards out of their pocket because one wants to earn their cash back, the other one wants Canadian Tire dollars, the other one wants Aeroplan miles, and so on. So if you're not using Agencia, this is the point at which, unfortunately, you got to go back to square one and make 5 bookings for these 5 friends, let's call them friends, who are all traveling together and want to sit near each other. Now, we've brought a solution to the table. Before we get to that solution, let's just assume one person's paying for everyone. Single payment is always selected by default. You would enter their credit card information right over here, scroll down, click that you agree to the terms and conditions, hit book and pay, and you're done. At that point, you'll get a 9-digit Agencia Global confirmation number. You'll be presented with the ability to download as a PDF both your itinerary and your invoice, both of which will have your company's information at the top. So when you register for an account, Agencia is going to take care of that automatically. Whatever you put as the agency name, address, and phone number will automatically show up at the top of the itinerary and the invoice. So you could either print those off or download them and send them to your customer by email. We're not at the point of auto ticketing just yet, but you will receive your tickets within 1 to 2 hours. Now, let's say, for example, everyone does want to use their respective card. At that point, you simply click on multiple payment, and you'll notice that a drop-down menu appears that allows you to select as many credit cards as there are customers. Now, if I move back to the payment section, you'll note I get an error message saying that I have to assign passengers to their cards. So here they are right over here. Here are the card slots. You just grab each one. It's a simple drag and drop system. Grab your customers, move them to their respective cards, at which point this area no longer blocks you. You've got your 5 tabs right over here. So card 1, you've got Laron, for example. On card 2, you'd have Summer, and I won't make you watch me do this 5 times, but just to show you here, card 1, you've got Laron, card 2, you've got Summer, and so on. So once you finish on all 5, click on book and pay. You'll still be presented with 1 itinerary and 1 invoice. In the case that you selected single charge and you want to hide your markup, the invoice will not show what your markup is. It'll actually get pushed into the base fare. In the case that you selected lowest price, then your markup would show up in the service fee section. So that's completely up to you. But that's basically the booking process on Agencia. So quick recap, it's all web-based, so no GDS knowledge required. It's free to register. We don't charge any transaction fees, any monthly fees or anything to that effect. We have a 100% TOT rev share model. So anything the airline pays us goes straight to you. Any net fare they file for us is exactly the net fare that'll be displayed in Agencia, so we don't mark up those net fares either. And we do handle all post-booking for you as well. So once you've made a booking, if you have any questions, you could feel free to reach out to us either by email or by phone. Here are the hours of operation, or you could even just submit your request right here in the form, and then right down here is where you'd confirm you're not a robot and click on submit, and we'll receive that as an email and respond to you as soon as possible. So I'll just leave this on the screen a bit longer. And at this point, hopefully you like what you saw and you're ready to register, even if it's just to earn that Amazon gift card. But I'll show you how to do that. So when you go to www.agenciaglobal.com, you'll get to our landing page right over here. The register button will appear, at which point you'll be directed to this page. We just ask for some basic info, so your business name and main agency email. We do ask for some form of accreditation, so any of these will suffice. Your address, excuse me, there we go, we'll just move down. Your address, phone number, and then right down here, we ask you for the name of a master agent, so that could be the agency owner, director of sales, HR, accounting. Long story short, a master agent could obviously make bookings, but they'll also be able to add new agents under them. They'll be able to modify the agency information, view everybody's bookings, view agency commission statements, and so on. Whereas a regular agent can basically just make a booking and access their old bookings. So that would be up to you on how the breakdown would go. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you like what you saw. Again, as mentioned earlier, I am not only open to feedback on the presentation. If I almost put you to sleep. I'm sorry for that, but I'm wide open to feedback on how I could do better. But I'd also love to hear from you in terms of what headaches you're facing in your day-to-day as a travel agent that no one else has solved for you. And it would be our pleasure to see if we could do anything to make your life a bit easier. Before we move on to the Q&A, just to recap again, because I saw the attendance kind of go up as I was presenting. Just to recap the terms and conditions for the webinar, we do ask that you attended, until the end, including the Q&A. So we're already almost there on that point. We do ask that you also register for an account on Agencia Global, which I just showed you how to do. And we do ask that you make a booking, only one, at least one, with Air Transat between today and September 17th. Once again, if you click on the Air Transat banners, either on your dashboard, on the search page, or any eligible OND on which it shows up, you'll get a pop-up that gives you the eligibility for that $7 bonus per segment. So on that note, thank you everyone for your time. Hope you like what you saw, and we're ready for some Q&A.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. That was a great presentation, really informative. And just as Jimmy was saying, travel agents, if you have any comments or questions about the presentation, I know we have a few here I'm going to go over in a minute, but please feel free to add them in here. This is your time with Jimmy, so definitely use it and take advantage of it. Jimmy, first we have a question from Elizabeth Sherman, and she's asking, are there any restrictions to selling insurance, such as what province you live in, if your province is different than the province that your client lives in?
I would rather say I'm not sure than make up an answer on the spot. So Elizabeth, sure. If I can bug you, I'm really sorry for not having that answer live, but if I can bug you to just shoot us an email right over here, I'm going to let my team know to keep an eye out for it. They'll forward it over to me. I'll look into that for you and get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, great. Thank you. So Elizabeth, yep, just feel free to reach out to Jimmy. Jimmy's team. Is there a specific email, Jimmy, that she should be contacting? I'll do you one actually, because I was saying, email here and then they'll forward it over to me, but here's my email. So please feel free to reach out to me right over here. Okay, thanks, Jimmy. You see it on the screen, everybody. I'm also putting it under Elizabeth's question, so you can see it there. So just want to make sure I spell it right. Agencia. You wouldn't be the first to misspell it. Okay, so I sent that off as well. And then thanks for answering that, Jimmy. Elizabeth also says thank you. My pleasure. And yeah, absolutely. Next, we have a question from Stacy, and she's asking about groups. Does Agencia Global do groups? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? So we don't do groups. That's why Agencia allows for up to 9 passengers on one PNR. That said, if you are looking for a group fare, you're always welcome to reach out to me, and I could reach out to the airline rep for a price. So we do those on an ad hoc basis, but as far as having that functionality integrated into Agencia, I don't foresee it happening anytime soon. Okay, thank you. That's a great answer. So remember, you've got Jimmy's contact information here. So feel free to reach out for him if you have questions about groups or a group that you would possibly like to be able to book with Agencia, and he will see what he can do for you. Okay, and then last we have a question. Stacy says thank you also, Jimmy. And then we have a question here from Dee Dee, and Dee Dee's saying, I have not used Agencia before, but she's asking about booking there versus Transat directly or Air Canada. And I think what she wants to know are what are some more benefits of booking with Agencia Global, Jimmy? Well, I would assume if you're booking directly on AC or Transat's websites, then there's probably no time of ticketing incentives available to you. So I should have let off with this in the beginning. Name the airline, basically, and we have either a commission or net fare contract with them in both Canada and the US. I've got more fingers than there are airlines that I don't have a contract with, and you probably haven't heard of half of those. So booking with us, basically, Look, we'll handle all the post-booking for you. So even if an airline needs to be contacted for a waiver, that's our problem, not yours. And again, if you're booking directly with them, I may be wrong on this, but direct bookings usually don't result in any time of ticketing incentives, to my knowledge.
That's a really good point, a really good tip there from Jimmy. So Dee, I hope that answers your question. If there are other questions that you have about that, please feel free to pop them in here, or you can also contact Jimmy directly. So thanks for that one. And then lastly, Jimmy, I just have Dee says thanks. So hopefully that answers your question, Dee. And then Pat was also just saying thank you for your presentation, Jimmy. It was a great one.
That's awesome. I love I love Q&As like that. Look, the pleasure was all mine, everyone. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time to an Agencia webinar, I just want to kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from. So before joining the travel industry, I had been in sales for about another 10 years before that, mostly on the wholesale side. And my success was always driven by ensuring that the people who were selling my product were always taken care of as much as possible. So I was wholesaling appliances, and I would make sure that everyone in the retail stores who was pushing my appliances to the end user would always make more commission by doing so than by selling any other brand. And you'll notice once you get used to using Agencia on a regular basis, you'll probably see a banner 24 hours a day, 365 days a year on Agencia on any given OND at any time. So my favorite part of the job is making sure that I, for lack of a better term, squeeze the lemon, quote unquote, with airlines to make sure that we're maximizing incentives all the time. So today it's Transat, the $7 per segment. Tomorrow could be another airline partner, but I always take pride in the fact that I haven't been presented with any proof to the contrary. I take pride in the fact that I incentivize agents more than any of my peers in the industry. So again, free to join and put me to the test. Shop around. If my commission is not as good as it is with whomever you're working with right now, it would be my absolute pleasure to harass the airlines and make sure that you end up making more through me.
Okay, that sounds amazing. Some travel advisors, I think that is really great points that Jimmy made there. So as he was saying, please do try out Agencia if you have not yet. And you know that you can contact Jimmy as well if you have any questions about commissions or something else. So again, thank you, Jimmy. Pina was just asking quickly for a contact number. Is there a specific contact number that you would recommend? I can just type it in the chat here.
It's right over here. 1-844-544-FAIR. If you want to speak to me directly, just shoot me an email. My email is right up here, and I'll give you a shout back. Just because this is on Facebook Live, last time I put my cell number up there, I started getting questions about my flight is delayed an hour, what do I do, and so on. So won't share my cell number here, but it'll be my pleasure to share it with you by email or set up a one-on-one call, no problem.
Awesome. That's great. And Pina also says thank you. So thanks for that, Jimmy. And that seems to be the end of our questions for today. So I just want to say thank you to you, Jimmy, for coming back on here today and presenting to our travel agent readers. You are sharing really valuable information with them, and we are really glad to be able to connect you with our community. And I want to say a big thank you as well to all of the travel agents participating here today. Thank you for being online with us and being part of our Travel Week community as well. And with that, I will say good day. I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, and we will see you again soon. Thanks so much, Jimmy.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.